Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to ask Mr. Quadman, if I could, first, a question just in a broad stroke. What steps can policymakers make in order to strengthen capital formation to ensure that all companies of all sizes have the capital they need to invest, grow, innovate, you name it? What can we be doing better up here on the dais?
I think there are a few things. I think the subcommittee has already been doing a lot here. So as I mentioned earlier, I think passage of the Invest Act deals with a lot of that. And disclosure reforms are an important part of that as well. I also think the passage of the Growth Act is also very important as well, because that takes away a tax disparity that mutual fund owners have and allow for more investments. And just to follow up on something Mr. Garbarino was asking, we had submitted data to Congress a few months ago on the Growth Act, where a $10,000 mutual fund investment with a family that has $140,000 in income, with the passage of the Growth Act, they'd have $1,300 more in return. Government would actually get $140 more in capital gains taxes as a result of that. So I think increased opportunities like that for investment obviously also trickle down for that IPO machine.
Thank you, Mr. Quadman. Mr. Patak, if I could, back in 2019, the SEC passed the ETF rule, and it was designed to increase competition, accelerate innovation, and broaden investor choices. Do you think that it has met its mark now 6 years later?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that that legislation has largely succeeded in its intent, just judging from the sheer proliferation of ETFs that we have seen come out, given the simplification of the rules, and just an overall move to make the process of launching an ETF more efficient. And that's conferred benefits to investors, because many of those products that have come out have been lower cost, and so investors have been able to get exposure, whether it's a passive strategy or an active strategy, at lower cost. And it seems like that will set up well for further innovation involving low-cost vehicles, which we're very supportive of.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Johnson, if I could, your company, have you seen what has allowed your company to reduce some of these costs in actively managed funds while preserving the research that people come to expect, the expertise and flexibility that they want to have for their long-term returns?
So we have a commitment to giving the economies of scale back to our investors through lower fees. Breakpoints as the funds grow in asset size, fee waivers, and other things have allowed us to return a lot to shareholders, but to bring the average fee rate down over time as our funds grow. So we're very committed to that, and we will continue to do that as the funds grow.
And one final question, if I could, Madam Chair, Mr. Quadman again. I'd like to get your take in broad strokes. I mean, I just came from the Science Committee, and we're talking about AI. And what are the people in your industry doing maximizing AI so that, to the earlier question, Ms. Johnson, is so that you're reducing some of those backroom costs so that you can bring more value to the customers? What are you all doing with AI that we can help understand it? Because there's so much negative talk about AI. I see it as an incredible and innovative tool as well. Yeah. It's like the cell phone. It can be incredibly constructive or destructive. How are you all using AI?
So we are, and the industry and companies are in varying different levels here, but AI is a tool that can be used, right, in terms of, as you're alluding to, different efficiencies that can be brought into, back office work and other strategies as well. And as I was mentioning in my answer to Mr. Foster, is that, when you take a look at, an attempt to have blanket AI regulations, that's what the EU tried to do with the AI Act, right? And it has backfired on them. So that's why we have suggested an approach that is much more surgical. We're looking to see where the gaps are, right? And then trying to deal with it there. But I would also say, too, and this is why I mentioned this as well, quantum computing is also coming, right? So, there was a report yesterday in the Wall Street Journal that IBM is talking about a functional AI quantum computer by 2030. So that also brings in a level of speed as well. So I think we need to, on a policy level, be thinking about these things on a surgical way, but then also allowing for that technological development to take place. Because at the end of the day, these efficiencies that we're talking about within the industry, those are savings that investors are going to have, and it's going to help their return be even higher.
Well, Madam Chair, I'll yield back just to say I'm concerned what the EU did as well. I think they're making a mistake. And I think that we need to be leading the world in innovation. And Madam Chair, I appreciate you making the time for us on this important issue. Thank you.